Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is The Poison Tomorrow. Now, this is a one-shot Batman/Green Arrow comic written by Denny O'Neil and illustrated by Michael Netzer, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, and published by DC Comics in 1992. Now, the character of Batman was originally created by Bob Kane Bill Finger, and the character of Green Arrow was originally created by Mort Weisinger, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, and George Papp. Now, Denny O'Neil, even though he didn't create either of these characters, he's actually a pretty important writer for both Batman and Green Arrow. In the 70s, he had a pretty significant run on Batman with Neil Adams, where he really sort of established the darker, grittier Batman stories even before Frank Miller. Denny O'Neil also wrote the famous Green Arrow story where Green Arrow discovered that his young ward Speedy was addicted to heroin. So, the plot of The Poison Tomorrow is the superhero Black Canary, who at this point in the continuity is actually married to Oliver Queen, better known as Green Arrow. She's been infected with this toxin after being bitten by this seemingly crazy old man in a supermarket, and Green Arrow follows this old man to Gotham City where he's destroying a shipment of baby food, and Batman gets involved. So, in the comic, Batman and Green Arrow are now racing against time to try to find an antidote to this toxin before it's too late. And you eventually find out that this toxin has actually come from Poison Ivy. It turns out that Poison Ivy has made a deal with a corrupt businessman named Maxwell, and their plan is to put Ivy's toxin into baby food, and after X amount of kids die, Maxwell's company is going to distribute the antidote, and this will make him richer. What Maxwell doesn't realize is there is no antidote. Ivy is just playing him for a fool because this is all part of Ivy's plan to eventually wipe out the human race. Now, The Poison Tomorrow is a pretty decent comic, and I gotta say, this is probably Poison Ivy at her most evil, because she's part of a plan to kill children. But as evil as she is, you could at least argue that she's insane, whereas Maxwell is driven by greed, and Maxwell, I would say, is the true antagonist of this comic. But as evil as he is shown to be a loving father, and it's never made quite clear how much his kids actually know what a monster their father is. Now, at the time this comic was published, both Tim Burton's Batman and the sequel Batman Returns were relatively new movies, and I don't know if these were meant as references to the Tim Burton movies or not, but there is a reference to Jack Nicholson at one point in the comic. Jack Nicholson also played the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman. There's also a reference to Pee Wee Herman at one point, and Paul Rubens played the Penguin's father in Batman Returns. But yeah, I recommend The Poison Tomorrow. If you're a Batman fan and if you're a Green Arrow fan, I think you'll enjoy it. But that was my review, and bye.